on satellite, on Freeview, on cable, on radio, on mobile, on the web and around the world. This is First at 9 on Other Derana 24/7.
Oil prices. Lanka IOC decides to increase prices of petrol and diesel. Crib system to be upgraded.
We are in the process of now updating or totally revamping our existing credit bureau system.
Voting rights. The Global Sri Lankan Forum hands over petition to the UNHCR regarding delay of elections. On international news, another resignation. US Health Secretary Tom Price resigns today. And on sports, unwilting, Pakistan chips away at Sri Lanka's lead. Bring you news from home and across the world. This is First at 9 on Other Derana 24/7. Good evening, I'm Katharina Chang. Now on to your top story tonight. The Indian Oil Corporation expects to increase prices of fuel in the future. The corporation stated that they decided to increase prices of petrol and diesel and has notified the government of its intention. The Indian Oil Corporation states that its expected increase of petrol and diesel rates was based on the decline of the rupee against the dollar, the fluctuation of prices of crude oil in the world market, and new tax reforms. Speaking to Other Derana, spokesperson for IOC stated that the decision is conveyed in writing to Minister of Petroleum Resources Development, Arjuna Ranatunga, and the Secretary of the Ministry of Finance. Accordingly, the percentages of increase in prices will be released next week. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says developing the country as well as educating the public on development helps towards election wins. He expressed these views addressing the party activists meeting in Talawa, Anuradhapura today.
Now we have the opportunity to win the ground level. What we have to do is to get ready for the elections. This is not the preferential system. Therefore, we will put forward candidates who can win all divisions. We have one drawback, and they have a speciality, especially the Rajapakshas. If they do something worth 10 rupees, they depict it as 100 rupees worth. If we do something worth 100 rupees, they say we did nothing. We can't win an election until we change it. However, prior to the commencement of the meeting, activists of the party spoke to the General Secretary of the party, Minister Kabir Hashim, on the issues they face.
The Global Sri Lankan Forum today handed over a petition to the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Prince Zeid Ra'ad Al Hussein, alleging that the government of Sri Lanka is wresting the citizens' voting rights by delaying elections. Now they handed over the petition while participating in the 36th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council.
The petition was handed over to the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights by members of the Global Sri Lanka Forum who attended the 36th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council. Among them are Venerable Bengamuya Nalaka Thera, Rear Admiral Dr. Sarath Veerasekara, Dr. Nalaka Godaheva, Vasanta Kirtiratna and others. Through the petition, they insist that the government of Sri Lanka violates the human rights of the people by postponing elections. The most important thing in the existing constitution is the sovereignty of people. It's the president's responsibility to implement that sovereignty. But the government is trying to make the country anarchic by not holding elections for more than 2 years now. We protest against it in our country as much as we can. The members of Global Sri Lanka Forum handed over a letter requesting an order to the government to hold elections and save the sovereignty of the people. This journey was a successful one. We should be thankful to Global Sri Lanka Forum for doing something that should be done by the government.
Speaker of Parliament Karu Jayasuriya led a multi-party parliamentary delegation to the US capital recently. According to the Sri Lankan Embassy in Washington, D.C., during the visit, the delegation held discussions with several members of the Congress from both the Republican and Democratic parties.
Speaker Karu Jayasuriya was accompanied by several ministers and parliamentarians. They briefed the members of Congress on developments in Sri Lanka, particularly in relation to constitutional reforms. They emphasized on the importance of strengthening cooperation between the Sri Lanka Parliament and the US Congress to underpin the expanding bilateral partnership. Speaker Jayasuriya invited the members of Congress to visit Sri Lanka and see the developments on the ground firsthand. The visit to Washington, D.C. took place as part of the USAID-sponsored program with the Sri Lankan Parliament to strengthen public accountability systems, improve planning, communication, policy reform and implementation, and increase the participation of women in politics.
4 more suspects were arrested today by the police in connection with the protests over Rohingyas refugees from Myanmar. Meanwhile, the Mount Lavinia Magistrates Court today remanded a suspect arrested for unruly behaviour against Myanmar refugees in Mount Lavinia recently until the 9th of October. The Police Colombo Crimes Division arrested the suspect yesterday in Bambalapitiya. Meanwhile, Chairman of the Sinhala Ravya organisation, Venerable Akmi Manada Ratanathera, is notified to appear at the Colombo Crimes Division to record a statement pertaining to the incident.
The incident in Mount Lavinia resulted in 31 Rohingya refugees from Myanmar being transferred to the detention camp in Busa. Meanwhile, the Galle Magistrates Court yesterday issued an order prohibiting protests next to the detention camp. Beefed up police protection could be seen around the camp today. Approximately 600 policemen were deployed in a 2-kilometer radius of the detention camp. IGP Pujit Jayasundara meanwhile said today that law will be exercised pertaining to the Mount Lavinia incident irrespective of stature. The issue of Rohingya refugees from Myanmar meanwhile continued to draw opinion today as well.
The campaign launched by Patli Champika Ranawaka of the Jatika Helaurume as well as Aturaliya Ratanathera pushed young members of the clergy towards violence. One of the Buddhist monks implicated in the attack on Rohingya refugees in Mount Lavinia is a former parliamentarian of the JHU. Any country would provide temporary shelter in such a scenario. This is humanity. We're not barbaric. Sri Lanka is not a country which accepts refugees. Our population is enough and we cannot increase it. It is, however, better to be vigilant, for some attempt to arouse anger and does things which will dilute the respect people have towards the Buddha Sasana and the country.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Derana 24/7.
Getting back to one of our local news now, Sri Lanka's spin bowling legend Muthaiya Muralidharan claimed the Icon of the Year award at the Derana Sri Lankan of the Year 2017 awards night. Let's now take a look at that story.
Derana Sri Lankan of the Year 2017.
The Derana Sri Lankan of the Year award ceremony was worked off in grandeur recently. Various prominent personalities in the fields of sport, cinema, business, science and public service graced the occasion. Awards were given in 13 categories for high-flying achievers by a distinguished panel of 9 covering all sectors.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, all of you have.
The jury.
The panel comprised of former Army Commander General Daya Ratnayaka, human rights activist Deshamanya Dr. Radhika Kumaraswamy, Professor J.B. Disanayaka, human rights activist Dr. Jesima Ismail, award-winning cinematographer Chandran Ratnam, entrepreneur Diane Gomez, and senior journalists Vijitayappa and Nalaka Gunawardana, headed by diplomat Jayanta Dhanapala.
Sri Lankan of the Year.
The award winners were selected from a list exceeding 100 candidates following research of approximately 6 months.
Sports.
Accordingly, Dinesh Priyantha Herath clinched the Sri Lankan Sportsman of the Year award. He represented Sri Lanka at the 2016 Rio Paralympics, where he brought home a bronze medal in athletics. Prior to that, he served in active service in the army affiliated to the Gajiba Regiment.
Priyantha Herath.
ඇත්තටම මෙම සම්මාන ලැබීමෙන් මගේ ඉදිරි ක්‍රීඩා ජීවිතයට ලොකු රුකුලක් එනවා.
Entertainer Classical.
Renowned musician and choreographer Ravi Bandhu Vidyapati bagged the Classical Entertainer of the Year award for his wealth of knowledge in both local and global music, as well as modernizing the tradition of music by creating the Kalabereya.
Ravi Bandhu Vidyapati.
මේ අගනා සම්මානය මට ඉතාම වටිනවා. මේ ඉතා විශේෂයි.
Entertainer Distinguished Achievement.
Irangani Serasinghe, who entered the field of cinema through the film Rekava by Lester James Spears, won the award for Distinguished Achievement in Entertainment.
Irangani Serasinghe.
This is Irangani Serasinghe, the winner of the Distinguished Achievement Award in the Entertainer category.
මෙහෙම එකක් මම බලාපොරොත්තු නැහැ මුළු ජීවිතේටවත්.
You are too humble, madam.
Entrepreneur.
Renowned businesswoman Aban Prestonji won the award for the Entrepreneur of the Year.
Aban's Prestonji.
Please put your hands together as we welcome the other Derana Sri Lankan of the Year Entrepreneur or Godmother of the evening.
I feel that we should be honest, hardworking, and perseverance if you want to succeed. That's my advice.
Global Businessman.
The award for Global Businessman of the Year went to Mahesh Amalin.
Mahesh Amalin. Global Scientist.
Mathematician, astronomer, and astrobiologist Professor Chandra Wickramasinghe was given the accolade of the Global Scientist of the Year.
Global Scientist. Professor Chandra Wickramasinghe.
The advice that I would give as a scientist to young people in Sri Lanka is a piece of advice that was given by the Buddha: be lamps unto yourselves.
Global Entertainer.
Rohan De Silva, who excelled in Western music, claimed the Global Entertainer of the Year award.
Global Entertainer. Rohan De Silva. Global Professional.
Cecil Balmond, who is responsible for world-renowned architecture such as the CCTV television building in Beijing, China, won the award for the Global Professional of the Year.
Cecil Balmond.
His son accepted the award on his behalf.
The Popular Award.
Singer Chamara Veerasinghe won the public's hearts and was voted most popular among 10 nominees.
Public Servant.
Auditor General Gamini Vijayasinghe won the award for the Public Servant of the Year for his tireless work towards justice and the betterment of the country. He, however, declined to accept the award, stating in a letter that doing so would hinder the independence of his duties.
And I think that deserves a huge round of applause because he takes his job so seriously, and these are the people that we are celebrating here today.
Unsung Hero.
2 unsung heroes were given accolades this year, among whom is 81-year-old Lily Violet from Kegel for her silent service in ensuring the safety of school children crossing the road with no expectation of financial gain.
Lily Violet.
සේවය කරන්න වෙලා අවුරුදු 40යි. තව මට පුළුවන් කල් මම පින්තක මේ වැඩේ කරනවා.
The second award went to Tilini Nadika Shalwin, a teacher who secured water supply and library facilities for a school through channeling the help of her friends on Facebook.
Tilini Nadika Shalwin. Bravery Award.
3 bravery awards were also given out, the first of which was awarded to Naveen Danushka of the Sri Lanka Air Force. He was applauded for risking his life to save 2 young girls and 2 women from drowning in Batticaloa while he was returning home from the Batticaloa Air Force Base.
Naveen Danushka.
මම ජීවිත ආසාවත් ඇරියා. මේ මොහොතේ මම S2 පියාගත්තේ මං නිසා තවත් කෙනෙක් ජීවත් වෙනවා. ඒ පින මට ඇති කියන දේ නිසා තමයි මම මගේ අන්තිම පියාගත්තේ.
The second award was clinched by Sri Lanka Police Sergeant Nihal Saratkumara, who has saved hundreds of people from drowning in the sea.
Nihal Saratkumara.
Meanwhile, Economic Development Officer Eranga Vikumsiri, who lost his life saving people from the Aranaka landslide, was also given the Bravery Award, which was accepted by his widow and mother.
Eranga Vikumsiri. Lifetime Achievement Award.
The Sri Lankan of the Year Lifetime Achievement was awarded to Sri Lanka Abhimanya Lester James Peris, who strived to broaden the reach of Sri Lankan cinema, carrying it to international heights in a career spanning 5 decades. His wife, Sumitra Peris, accepted the award.
Dr. Lester James Peris. Icon of the Year.
Winning the climactic award of the night, cricketing legend Muthaiya Muralidharan, whose service shaped the past, the present and future of Sri Lanka's cricket, was unanimously crowned the Icon of the Year. His service was applauded not only by the field of sport but also philanthropy.
Icon of the Year, Muthaiya Muralidharan.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Icon of the Year, the Derana Sri Lankan of the Year Award, the Icon of the Year, Muthaiya Muralidharan.
It's very special for me because I'm truly a Sri Lankan. I want to be able to be a Sri Lankan, so it is something that will come to my heart. It's not only me who won, because so many people made me to win this award as well. When I thought in 1996 I went in a great trouble, people of this country helped me, because one stage I thought my cricketing career would be end. All the guidance given by all the people in this country, so I would have to do something for them. That's why we started this Foundation of Goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen, we leave you tonight with the promise of coming back to you next year with an equally groundbreaking, emotional and exciting show where we will appreciate all the efforts of individuals around our beautiful country who are putting us on the map, who are making our country the great nation that it is. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Derana Sri Lankan of the Year 2017.
You are watching Sri Lanka's trusted news brand, Derana 24/7.
On Business News tonight, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe ensures that professional services will not be included in the bilateral agreements with countries such as India and China. He said this addressing the National Export Awards ceremony organised by the National Chamber of Exporters of Sri Lanka last evening.
The 25th edition of the National Export Awards was held in Colombo yesterday under the patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Building a stronger economy requires export orientation, because what we are trying to do is to move out of the dualist system of export market, of export economy and a domestic economy, into combining both. That we also have to realize that our strength lies in becoming competitive. I must say one thing, I know many of you will disagree with me. Tax rebates alone will not drive competitive, tax incentive. But today, if you take any country that's a global exporter, export market, they all pay a tax, not a high tax, but a low level of tax. And there are areas in which we still have problems. For instance, I admit our power cost is one of the issues that we have. Industries will move out of Sri Lanka because as our GDP goes up, as our wage goes up, we have to realize that some of the enterprises that rely on low wages will move out. Now that is also happening in all parts of the world. We have to go up the value chain into a framework, realizing that our per capita GDP and our and actual home incomes will be increasing. Secondly, in doing so, we have to create the markets for you. So we are back again. We have obtained the GSP plus. We are now negotiating with India to be spread over, and China. Those are agreements that will be spread over a period of time. And with India, emphasis is on the non-tariff barriers, and we are not in any way including professional services in such exercise. 3 years, we'll see at the moment $4 billion worth of investments coming into Sri Lanka. That's we are counting from the Asian country. We are working at seeing a full export-oriented economy coming into being by 2019. Many of the measures will be announced by the Minister of Finance in his budget. I thought I would explain to you what the government is doing and to have no doubt as to what we are committed.
The Credit Information Bureau is going to revamp the credit bureau system with plans to include non-financial institution data in the CRIB report. The General Manager of the Bureau, Nandi Anthony, speaking to other Derana, said that a credit score tool will be introduced under the new system.
We are in the process of now updating totally revamping our existing credit bureau system, and through that, one of the most important products that we are going to come out to the country is the credit score. The credit score is actually the person's credibility. That particular score will be introduced through our new system very soon. And also the inclusion of non-financial institutions data, like the data of telcos, how you pay your mobile bill, how you pay your insurance payments. All these data will be in the bureau, and then we will be able to provide a 360-degree view of our customers to the lending institutions. And also what happens is this particular features that we are bringing on is very, very important for our country to move up the ease of doing business index.
He went on and elaborated on the frequently asked questions as well.
People go and sign up for as guarantors because the person who took the loan has defaulted. So it's all about credit discipline, and what we have to understand is not having your data on CRIB is not the answer, because if you have ever got a loan, it has been because the CRIB has got your data there and the lending institution saw that one was comfortable enough to give you a loan. The advice is to engage with your banks. If you have issues, delays, deal with them directly on these issues, and then your record will be, then you will be able to be more eligible for credit.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Tom Price resigned yesterday over the use of expensive private planes for official business at the cost of taxpayers. Tendering his letter of resignation, Price said he regretted that, quote, recent events have created distraction, unquote, from the work of the Health Department.
Outgoing US Health Secretary Tom Price previously apologized after making 26 private flights since May at a cost of $400,000 to taxpayers. US government officials, except those dealing with national security matters, are required to take commercial flights for work-related travel. 3 other members of US President Donald Trump's cabinet are under scrutiny for using private planes while working.
The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights says airstrikes killed 28 people in a village in rebel-held Idlib province last night, including 4 children. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news across the world.
Firefighters battled a fast-moving wildfire in California yesterday in an effort to save nearby homes. According to local officials, 50 to 100 structures are threatened by the fire and evacuation orders have been issued. Tens of thousands of Catalan separatists are gearing up for tomorrow's planned referendum on independence from Spain. Thousands of extra police have been drafted in from across Spain as the government seeks to stop the referendum, calling it unconstitutional. Meanwhile, South Korean media report that several North Korean missiles were recently moved from a rocket facility in Pyongyang. The report, which cited an unnamed intelligence source saying South Korean and US intelligence officials detected the move, comes amid speculation that the North was preparing for more provocative acts.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Welcome back to the news. It was a good day for Pakistan today against Sri Lanka in the first test played at the Sheikh Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. The hosts amassed 266 runs for 4 wickets at stumps on day 3 and brought down Sri Lanka's lead to 153. Azhar Ali is the star with a bat for Pakistan with an unbeaten 74.
Resuming the innings from 64 for no loss, both Pakistani openers went on to post half-centuries. Shan Masood scored 59, while Sami Aslam chipped in with 51. Both Asad Shafiq and Babar Azam got starts for the hosts but were unable to kick on. Shafiq fell for 39 while Azam departed for 28. Number 3. Azhar Ali, however, played a patient innings with his unbeaten 74, coming in 200 deliveries. His innings included only 3 boundaries. As usual, Rangana Herath was the pick of the bowlers for the Sri Lankans as he ended the day with figures of 2 for 47.
And on to over the news tonight, the Central Hills once again will have cooler weather in comparison to the rest of the island. Several spells of showers will occur in the western, Sabragamur, northwestern and central provinces and in the Gaul, Matra and Jaffna districts. Meanwhile, Uva province as well as Ampara and Batticaloa districts may also experience showers and thunder showers accompanied by strong winds. It's now time to take a look at your city-by-city forecast. And before we leave you tonight, we'd like to take you to the second highest mountain peak in the world. Mount Godwin Austen, commonly known as K2, situated on the border between China and Pakistan, is known for posing stiff challenges to mountaineers. We hope you enjoy. Thank you for joining us and have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.